Have received this Lenovo G500. It is having a power issue as well as both hinges are broken, screen is damaged. Let's see how we can fix this laptop. The first thing, I will check this voltage from the charger. It is having 20 volt as you can see in the multimeter. It is a 20 volt and 2.6 ampere charger and it is working fine. When I plug the charger in and try to turn on, there is no power, no light, nothing at all. And now let's see how we can open this laptop and test the voltage inside and to make sure if there is a problem with the DC jack or with the motherboard. These two red pins are plus line and these two black pins are ground lines. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to check this DC jack if it is working fine or not. I'm going to plug the charger in and to really measure the voltage at the end of this DC jack to make sure if it is working fine. Then I will go for the motherboard. As you can see, I just plugged the charger in and I put the black probe on a black line and the red probe on a red line. These are the pins here. I just attached to the pin and now I'm testing the voltage. As you can see, it is 20 volts. When I move around, yeah, it is 20. It's just dropping a little bit, but 19, even 19 is enough for motherboard to really turn on. The charger is 20 volt and the motherboard required is far less. Okay, now I will continue for the motherboard testing to see if there is a problem. Okay, one important thing to mention over here, I do not have the power pad. I don't know where are the power pads of this motherboard where I can join two pins together to really turn on. I do have this palm rest cover for this laptop where I will remove the power button. As you can see from this side, this is the power button and this cable is going in. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to remove power button. There are two buttons, one for the power and the second one I can see it should be mentioned around here. It's this button. Okay, to make sure do not plug the cable at wrong connector. Make sure to compare it, just put the board like this and to see where the ribbon is gonna go. Okay, here we go. This is the this is the area where the ribbon is going in. There is tape around here, but if there is no tape, just try to put any of the stake with put any of the tape which does not contact with this metal. I will just try to turn on this motherboard. It's called a bench test to see if it does response anything. Still the same. There is no power in it. Now I will start diagnosing the laptop from this side, from the DC jack side, to see if there is any missing volt around. Okay, I'm checking the volts, turning on the multimeter, putting on volts. Okay, the first volt I normally check on the coil, where whatever the coil is next to the DC jack, just black pin on a ground and the red pin on a coil. Any of this, any side of the coil, and you see, as you can see, 19.58 volts are going in. And I just go one by one to check all the coils. 2.5, 2.3, This is look like BIOS. I'm just testing it right now to see if any of the voltage is going around here. Looks like it's nothing there. I'm just flipping the board to make sure if any of the volts are at the back side. Normally just try to check these MOSFETs. 4 volts, 1.8, 1.2. It is continuously decreasing. Okay, second thing I'll do, I'll just, if the processor is built in to the motherboard, we cannot remove it. If it is not built in, I'm just going to remove the processor to do a beep test on it, like a short. If any of the short is there, I will be able to detect it with the help of a multimeter. I'm just removing everything on the board, whatever I can. Going for the beep mode on the multimeter. This is the VRM section. It is not having any of the beep. If the processor is there, it would show a beep. That is, I think so, due to the very less resistance or very few ohms. The multimeter beeps for even the processor is on. Okay, in this scenario, it is beeping. Normally, I suspect if there is a short, my suspicion is that if it goes directly to the 0 ohm or 0.6, or you can say very less ohm, in that case I suspect this is the short. But here it is going to the 46 ohm, and it is decreasing slowly. Normally it is, in my understanding, based on my experience, if the ohms are, if it is a 16 or above ohms, there is less likely it is a short in the motherboard. If it is less than that, this is, you can say it is confirmed, not confirmed short, you can say it's, there are chances there might be a short. But if it is less than 10 or less than 5, that is more likely it is a complete short. It's gonna spill like this. But if I'm checking here on the processor and it is displaying over 16 ohm, that's I can say that might not be a short, or with confidence I can say. Okay, now I'm just moving forward for another coils. Just hold on a coil for some time. If there is a beep, it's gonna go away. Okay, these voltages were missing. I'm just checking each of the line. If something is beeping, it might be a ground. If I check on capacitor, Either side it should be a beep. One side should be a beep. It's because it's a ground, and the other side is plus line. Okay. it- Okay. Now I have tested the board for the obvious short, and in my opinion, there is no short in the motherboard at this stage. What I will do here, I'll just give a shot to clean a motherboard for dirt or any of the rust. Um, I will clean the motherboard and make sure everything is nice and clean, and then I will try to turn on. If it doesn't, then I will go for schematics and board view. Otherwise, there is no point spending time on it to really go for this motherboard, finding out a schematics and board view. I'll just go for the cleaning first. I will show you the microscopic view of this board, how it looks like now, and after cleaning, how it will be look like. Motherboard areas I'm considering cleaning. Those are this is the display connector. Here you can see some of the corrosion here, as well as if you just move around and see any of the damage area or any of the what do you call uh, RJ45 connector where the Ethernet cable goes. As you can see, it is having a lot of dust in it and as well as a corrosion inside. If I just scrape it, you can see it looks like a sticky water inside as well. Some of the more areas I will show you. As you can see here, if I just go for the other side, normally if there is a power issue, I just go for first the LAN IC. The reason why, because if there is a short inside the LAN IC or like a real tech IC on the board, I'll show you if I can find here. If there is a short inside the LAN IC or around any capacitor around LAN IC, if those are shorting, I just normally clean that area first because that has much more contribution in the power. Because sometime because I've heard that we can turn on the computer remotely as well, because there is something relating to the power inside of the LAN IC. The It happened with me. Many of the motherboard I have fixed just only by just cleaning the LAN IC and the areas around the LAN connector. I normally clean the motherboard with the help of a petrol and a brush, and just go random areas like if you can see here, this is the display connector. This is one of the major contributing factor in many of the cases I have received before. As you can see, it has a different lines and all of them are attaching together after having this dirt in it. If any of the voltage drop over here, and that is the main line, the laptop will gonna consider that one as a short, and though that short might be in ohms, that it would be hard for the multimeter to really detect it, but it's gonna drop the voltage. And if voltages are dropping, then if it if there is a IC required 5 volt and it is having 3 volts, that IC is not going to turn on, because if there is a enable signal for the IC to turn on 5 volt and it is receiving 3 volts or 2.5 volts, it will gonna consider it will not even turn on the IC, and the entire motherboard will be stopped. Okay, I'm cleaning it, and after doing a little bit of cleaning, I will be back. Okay, I have cleaned this motherboard, and as you can see, this is the RJ45 connector, LAN connector. I have cleaned that one as well, and you can see. Okay, I have cleaned this RJ45 connector in this motherboard, and if you can see the other areas, USB connectors, all of them is clean now. There was a bit of sticky liquid in it, and that I think was the contributing factor that was not letting this motherboard to turn on. I will check for in a couple of minutes, and if you see the entire if you see the entire board, and that is much more cleaner now, and you can just only see the dirt. That is okay. I'm just displaying you the board as how it looks clean. Okay, I'm just going to test this board now. I will put back everything and turn on the laptop. I'm going to remove this MOSFET, and I consider this one is a faulty, and we will change and see another one. Okay, I just got new one, and I'm going to apply on this one. This is the 30 volt P channel MOSFET. Okay, I have replaced this MOSFET. This was the one which was giving me 2.7 volt. I've just replaced with the other one that is I've removed from scrap board. Now what I'm going to do now is to test the volt. If I just turn on the motherboard now and to see if fan spins. Okay, fan is spinning and the computer is posting on the laptop is posting on a keyboard. uh, the voltage are still same. I suspect that there might be an issue around the IC, and the IC is maybe have a little bit of a corrosion around or dust. As soon as I just heated up this area, and as soon as I just try to resolder this MOSFET, it worked fine, but the voltage is still 2.7, and computer and the laptop turns on fine. There is no issue with it, and it is still posting on a what do you call keyboard. Now what I'm going to do now is to just I put a little bit of flux around, and I will heat this area to see if any of the changes happen, or if it doesn't, if it's still working fine, then there is no problem. I will just pack the laptop back. Okay, the laptop is on and it is turning on, but the issue was not in the motherboard, it was in the DC jack, because when I try to move the DC jack, it turns off. And it was really difficult to identify because it was working fine until I just really moved little hard to see if any of the connection is weak. And it took me a whole lot of time to really understand that this DC jack was the issue. Was before it wasn't working at all, and I had 20 volts around here. Okay, in this case, just the first thing what you need to do is to check this DC jack like this, rather than just like a simple connection check. If you just put the probe around here, and this is 20 volt, as you can see. If I just move little bit around, as you can see, this is going back to zero. When I move around here, and it is 20 volt, then 0, then 20, and there was a loose connection. Now by chance I just played a lot, and it worked fine. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to resolder these connections to really see if I can manage this problem. Okay, here we go. This was the issue with the laptop, and this was causing the laptop to not turn on. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to see whatever the pads are no good, whatever the pins are no good, I'm just going to scratch it. Yeah, this pin just came out. What I will do, rather than going one by one for all of them, I just check only the faulty one. This is the ground too, and if I just do a closer look, maybe this cable is attached inside. Yeah, I'm just going to resolder this one and check the laptop again. I've resoldered the joint, and now it is attached properly to the pin. I will check now if it is working fine or not. I had to reach all these joints, and now this connector is working fine after rejoining all these connectors. Now if you can see, even the main line and as well as the ground as well as both of the main line were broken, and while I was moving, it was working fine. And now I just resoldered it, and it is stable now. I'm going to use a silicone stick to really cover this up, and these joint does not touch together. Those does do not touch together. If I just put this silicone around here, let me just do it, and I will be back. Okay, I have covered this DC jack with the help of a what do you call a silicone. I just heat it up a little bit with the help of a soldering iron, and just I filled up inside. And now it's not gonna move around, and it's not gonna join the wires together if something breaks. Okay, one more issue I found here inside the charger. This is making trouble as well. Okay, the laptop is working fine now and there is no issue with the laptop. It is the same laptop. Mm, had a power issue as well as the hinges issue has been resolved. Now it is working fine. Thanks for watching the video.